Hi everyone, this is Paul here for the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm doing an astrology report for the solar eclipse in Cancer. This takes place on the 2nd of July at 8:16 p.m. here in the UK, which translates to 7:16 p.m. Universal Time. I'll be outlining the overall kind of themes and lessons that the solar eclipse highlights to us and giving an overview of what it all means. Before I do that, I just want to clarify, as I always do, that the astrology doesn't control our lives. It gives us a framework to help us understand what is unfolding around us, helps recognise where the key lessons to learn from, what the key areas of growth are presented to us at this time. But from there, it's up to each and every one of us to take responsibility for the choice that we make as to whether we try and go with the flow and make best use of the energies available, or if we just let the opportunities pass us by. And it's also making sure that the actions that we do take are guided by wisdom and not just blind impulse. Now, in terms of the solar eclipse in Cancer, this effectively opens the eclipse window. So this is a 2-week period which will last until the 16th of July, when we'll have the lunar eclipse in Capricorn. But this 2-week window is a time where it's important to go with the flow and to be aware of where old chapters in life are closing down, or where they need to be let go of because they no longer serve a purpose, and to try and hold on to them will cause a lot of stress and will cause them to occupy space in our life that we actually need to clear so that we can allow new chapters to unfold in our lives. So the eclipse season is often a bit of a reset for us. It's about trying to help us get from where we are at the moment, if we're in a rut and off path, and get us back onto the kind of course that we should be taking. But again, as I said, because the astrology doesn't force anything to happen, it's just an influence. It's up to us as to how we respond to it. Now, with the solar eclipse in Cancer, sets a 6-month lesson of learning to understand and being in touch with our own emotions, and it's also about our style of nurturing with other people. So with Cancer is the subconscious, it's the psychological basement, if you like, or it's the roots of our being. If you don't water the roots of a plant, for example, the plant will ultimately wither and die. So Cancer is about laying the core foundations necessary for long-term projects to manifest that are right for us. And in order to know what projects or goals to set that will resonate with who we are, we actually have to understand who we are to begin with, and what our true feelings about things are, and whether something feels right, and our intuition, and listening to our intuition. Because Cancer is a very intuitive kind of sign, but in order to get in touch with that intuition and trust it reliably, we first have to overcome emotional conditioning. So the emotional programming or reactivity that we have, that we may have been conditioned with over the years, but we have to let go of it in order to know how we truly feel about things, and to stay true to who we are. So one of the key kind of lessons during this time is going to be about learning to maintain perspective with our emotions. So when emotions do come up, it's not about burying them or indulging in them to the point that that we're drowning in emotions. It's about, imagine standing on a riverbank and the river is our emotions. The river is flowing smoothly, there's no kind of dams, it's not suppressed behind a dam, but nor is it flooding the banks and destroying everything around it. So it's about reaching that point where our emotions are able to flow freely, that we can be in touch with them, but we're not drowning in our emotions, we're not being controlled by them. So this is a time of kind of step back and seek to observe or be the witness to the emotions rather than identifying with them. And it's through getting in touch with our own emotions that we can recognise or be better able to nurture ourselves and to nurture other people. Now, one of the key things that we may need to look at or be conscious of or think about is any tendency towards either dwelling on self-pity, so constantly thinking about stuff that's happened in the past, because Cancer is linked with the past, but in order for us to rise above that, we have to let go of the attachments to the past. So Another theme for the solar eclipse in Cancer is about letting go of the past, letting go of any situations that, even if they bring us a sense of security, if they're creating at the same time a sense of stagnation, then clearly they're not right for us anymore. We need to have the courage to let go of them and move on, rather than clinging to the past or trying to keep the past alive. It's, no matter how secure we may feel in a situation, so can a dead-end situation feel secure to us, because it represents a familiar, but there's no growth left to be had. So it's a time of recognising when old chapters in life that may have brought a sense of security through being familiar, we need to let go of them in order to allow new projects that will be much more emotionally fulfilling to come in. So it's letting go of the fear of the unknown, or recognising where the fear of the unknown and the need for a sense of security holds us back from making the changes in our lives that would actually bring us true fulfilment. Because just because it makes us feel secure doesn't mean it's right for us anymore or is healthy for us. So it's a time of letting go in that respect. Another thing that we need to be mindful of is any tendency we have to try and jump in and help other people without being asked. Now, it's one thing if someone is clearly in a lot of emotional distress and it's obvious they need help, but it's quite another to kind of jump in before the person is ready to deal with something. So more often than not, it's better off to be an empathetic presence, to have that kind of nurturing and empathetic presence to us, but to not just jump in with other people's issues, not try and jump in and help them out without being asked first, because more often than not, no matter how well-meaning that may be, to a lot of people it can come across as emotionally intrusive and trying to try and invade someone else's emotional privacy. Sometimes a person needs enough time to get to a place where they're ready to release before they can kind of ask for any kind of help with that. So even if it's obvious that someone else is struggling with something, sometimes the struggle is what will help the person to wake up to where they're out of alignment and need to make changes in their lives. And if we're trying to meddle with that or try to intervene because we don't like seeing people in pain, sometimes, as unpleasant as it may sound, the only thing that will wake someone up is to go through that suffering, and they have to get to that point where it becomes they can't deal with it anymore and they realise they have to make a change. That's not just some academic point of view. I've been through that personally. So when sometimes if someone had intervened and prevented me from hitting rock bottom, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. I had to go through those difficult periods, that kind of pain, in order to recognise where something wasn't working anymore and a change had to be made. And likewise, we need to recognise when that is the case with other people. However, if someone actively asks for help or they ask for assistance, then by all means help out, because in that case we're not invading the person's privacy. They're asking for the kind of assistance, and as long as that person is also taking responsibility for their lives, then great. It's very important that and the way that we help people does not in the process create a dependency on the other person's part where they become reliant on us. The nurturing needs to be done in a way that helps the other person to heal through showing that empathy and kindness towards others and responding to other people's pain with compassion, but at the same time overcoming any tendency to engage in the saviour complex. It's recognising that sometimes people need to go through a difficult period in order to become stronger and more self-aware, and in order to wake up to the fact that there's something wrong with the situation they're in and that they need to change it. So with the solar eclipse in Cancer, one of the things we also need to be looking at is our capacity to nurture ourselves, because at the end of the day, can we really nurture another person in the right kind of way or in a way that will help the person if we don't know how to nurture ourselves? So as much as the solar eclipse in Cancer is about learning to be a nurturing presence with others, we can't do that if we're not able to nurture ourselves and to let go of old conditioning and to learn to let go of taking things personally. More often than not, the way someone responds to us in any given way is determined by their own conditioning or determined by their own past, and it's got nothing to do with us. So one of the, I mean, if anyone's familiar with the Toltec wisdom that Don McGarrow has covered, there's got the 4 agreements, and one of them is, or the second one on the list after always be impeccable with your word, is to not take anything personally. It's recognizing that how people respond to us or react is determined by their own conditioning or their own internal landscape that we have no control over. And if we take things personally, we end up holding on to whatever negativity is being spewed out, either by them or by us. And instead of letting go of it and becoming lighter within us, we become heavier and weighed down by all that negative energy that we're festering in and allowing resentment to build up. So it's letting go of taking things personally. It's by not taking things personally, we're no longer or we're able to be mindful of our response to the environment, and we gain that true power of being able to choose our response to situations rather than just reacting blindly. So a lot of this lesson that will be unfolding over the next 6 months, but will be really highlighted to us over the next 2 weeks if we're significantly out of alignment with this lesson, is that we're responsible for our own emotions only. We are not responsible for other people's emotional hang-ups and emotional conditioning. But likewise, we are also responsible for the choices that we make. We're responsible for the words that we use. So it's important that we choose, when we are communicating with people, we seek to do it in a way that is guided by love and truth. Because truth alone is not enough. There needs to be love behind it, because the truth can be delivered in a very cold and harsh way. But the kind of sensitivity of Cancer is about learning to be compassionate with our speech, be compassionate in how we approach other people, and extend kindness to other people when the world tries to condition us to embrace the kind of cruelty that we see around us. It's about learning to detach from all of that, detach from the drama, and be in touch with our own emotions and feelings, because this then allows us to achieve emotional closeness with other people in a way that we have that emotional steadiness. We're centered within ourselves, so our emotions aren't pulled off center by other people's actions or the way they're responding, and we can be a loving and nurturing presence without interfering or trying to intervene with other people. We can just be there, be that compassionate presence, and through that presence that we radiate, that it encourages people to loosen up, to relax, and allow the emotions that they're keeping buried to start flowing again. But it's important we don't try to intervene or force the process. It's about being sufficiently detached from it and looking at things from a more humanitarian perspective, so being objective with it and offering the kind of emotional assistance or emotional nurturing when the other person requires it and has asked for it, but also recognising when we need to step back and allow someone to make the choices that they want to make, even if we can see that it's going to cause them pain. Sometimes they might, in some cases, they might need to make that choice in order for them to learn a valuable lesson in life. So it's not our place to go around rescuing people. It's not our place to try and lift them out of the funk that they're in. All we can do is being a loving and compassionate presence, and have that nurturing energy flowing out from us through nurturing ourselves, so we're not dependent on people being a certain way in order to feel secure. And when we have that capacity to nurture ourselves, the nurturing energy can then flow out of us unimpeded. We're in touch with our own emotions but not controlled by them, and the emotions can flow freely without determining or affecting the way we respond to situations. And from that position we achieve a sense of emotional strength through centeredness. We're no longer at the mercy of external events. We're able to take that step back and allow the emotional energy to flow on by rather than it swamping everything. And through observing our internal responses we seek to gain control of our own emotional nature, and from there we can choose our responses. We can, when people are responding to us with anger or negativity, we can respond with love and compassion, but obviously maintaining boundaries and staying true to who we are, and making sure that we don't get bogged down in other people's emotional issues to the neglect of our own. If we're not in touch with our own emotional stuff, it becomes a lot harder to gauge whether the emotions that we're feeling are ours or other people. So by staying sufficiently detached through expressing empathy and compassion, but not seeking to fix the other person, we can become a much greater help to the people that are suffering, because we represent, or we symbolise, that compassionate presence that is by its very nature healing, but we're not trying to force things, we're allowing things to happen and respecting the free will of the other parties involved. This particular solar eclipse is ruled by Cancer, so the Cancer energy is very strong at this time, and Cancer's the ruler here and will be determining. And with this being about the core left, this is a North Node eclipse as well, so it's about learning to reconnect with our feelings and intuition. It's having that humility to let go of doing things out of a sense of trying to control the environment, instead be real with ourselves, be real with the people around us, so that true connection can be fostered amongst people. And it's about recognising the need to pursue the goals that resonate with our private dreams, that are true to who we are and will allow us to feel emotionally fulfilled, rather than just pursuing goals that will bring us respect, or try to gain some kind of social status, will not bring that sense of fulfillment. It's about getting in touch with the core of our being and recognising what it is that we truly want to make in our lives, and learn to be in touch with the emotions and respect other people's emotions, as it were. But by that I don't mean that we allow people to use emotions to dominate the conversation. At the end of the day, the emotions are just a subjective response to what's going on in the environment around us. The emotions are not necessarily truth, as it were. So to mistake the emotions as truth is not a good idea. So it's important that we do maintain sufficient detachment from the emotions, and we don't use them as an emotional weapon, because that will just drive people away from us. So whatever nurturing we're hoping to get, we're not going to get it. It's important that we be emotionally honest with ourselves, emotionally honest with the people around us, but at the same time be sufficiently detached from the emotions so they don't pull us off centre and leave us kind of drowning in emotions, rather than being on the bank and observing everything from a more detached and objective perspective that allows us to keep perspective and see things as they are, not how our emotions say things are. So I hope it's a useful guide for the solar eclipse in Cancer. There's quite a lot to take on board, but the most important thing to remember is that this is about being able to nurture ourselves so that we're not reliant on other people. It's about keeping perspective with the emotions so that we don't become swamped in them, and that we don't make all our decisions based on emotional reactions. And it's learning to let go of any tendency to try and jump in and save another person who we can see is in pain, unless the person has actively asked for the help. It's best not to jump in straight away, because more often than not, they'll probably see it as an invasion of emotional privacy rather than it being an attempt to help them. Sometimes people need to go through their own internal processes before they're ready to let go of something and move on. So all we can do is nurture ourselves to the point where we can be a nurturing presence and radiate love and compassion to others. But from there, we need to respect people's need for privacy and the need to do things their own way, and to allow people to go through whatever suffering they may need to go through in order to recognise it, for them to recognise that they're out of alignment and they need to make changes to bring themselves back in alignment with what will bring them true fulfilment and help them to awaken from suffering and recognise there's more to their lives than what they believe. They are more than their conditioning, and they are more than what they've been told, or more than what they believe they are based on their emotions or their beliefs. So I hope it's a useful guide for the solar eclipse in Cancer, and I hope it brings you many new insights and helps you in helps bring the lessons that will break you free from any old chapters that don't serve, and to open a new chapter in life that will allow you to feel emotionally fulfilled, to feel that sense of true happiness that comes from within, and that true sense of joy which can then be shared with others, and that allows us to feel a sense of fulfillment in life and a sense that we're achieving what we want to be doing, not just doing things that will bring us a sense of power or status but leave us feeling empty inside. It's about doing that inner work of being connected with a core of our being, of recognising what truly brings us fulfilment, and then pursuing the goals that will allow us to be fulfilled in life and will also enable us to be achieving more strong emotional closeness with our loved ones in the process. Because only by being true to ourselves about our own emotions and taking responsibility for them, that truly fulfilling relationships can be achieved with the people, where it's not based on control or any kind of unhealthy dynamics. It's about taking personal responsibility for our half of the relationship and giving the other person the freedom to be who they are in the process. So may the solar eclipse in Cancer bring you many new insights, blessings and opportunities for growth. Take care and be blessed.